tell us a bit more in detail about more about what you do and a little deeper into how being a podcaster is like?
Okay, so basically, being a podcaster is like you have to do a lot of research. Like that depends, like what your niche is. For example, if you're doing a podcast on psychology and your channel is based on psychology, and you are a psychologist, so it's relatively easier. But if you are doing diverse topics like sexual harassment or laws in the Indian society, hypnosis, so you really have to get a grasp of the basic concepts of the subject. So that requires a tremendous amount of research. And since I have to like post every day, so it's like 6 hours of study. So it's good that I get to learn a lot. So like you can make it a side hustle if you are into learning and you also want to contribute in some way. Podcasting is good for that. Yeah.
Okay, so like when you said that you get into the details, you study behind the topic. So what is it that you love most? Do you like talking to people, getting to know from them, or like gaining knowledge about them before you interview them? Do you like the part where you have to do a lot of research?
I think the part I love the most is getting to know myself, how I interact with people from different walks of life. I get to know what facet of them inspires me the most, and I get to explore myself.
All right. So, how important do you think, because you make podcasts, right? And you do it because you love doing it, right? A lot of
Yes.
people do not get the opportunity or somehow do not like pursue what they love. Like,
Right.
how important is it for you to live a life doing what you love, or, rather, choose a lifestyle that is more like success in the what is the standard industry standards of success? Like, what is, if you had a choice, how would you want to live? Like living the life doing what you love, or going for what is success in terms of accepted societal standards of success?
Right. So let me share
Yeah.
a secret with you. I hated doing podcasts. I hated talking to people. I was really scared. So like for the first 15 to 20 episodes, I had to really, really calm myself, meditate before doing the podcast. And I used to screw up a lot.
How is it important to live the life you love, following your passion and doing things you love, or rather live a life which is more like successful in the societal industry standards of success, right? Like, because doing what you love is not always a straight route. It may not always be successful in terms of what success is defined as. So what for you, what is important to you, that you live a life you wake up happy in the morning, or you live a life that is successful but maybe you're not very like satisfied?
If you're living in accordance with other people's value of success, then you're not living your own life. So if you love doing what you love and you're successful in that, like what is success? Success can be being happy in the morning when you wake up, or actually feeling that you're contributing something or being part of something instead of another cog in the machinery. So if you think that is successful, fine. If you think that being in a 9 to 5 job working for someone, that is success for you, that is also good. So it's just that in these non-traditional activities, you have to take this risk, that the concept of a starving artist, that for initial few years they do not get discovered and suddenly magic happens and all of a sudden they get fame recognition. So you need to take that chance, and 95% it may not work out, but that does not mean you have to stop. It just means that it will work out in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. So traditional success is a defined framework that is given to us by society, that if you do all these expected actions, something related to this achievement will happen to you, which is good for you. So if you feel that is good for you, then it is fine. But if you feel that traveling the world or writing is good for you, then you do not need to go in accordance with the society. Right.
Okay. I mean, yeah, like what you said about following your own idea of success and doing what like you want to do ultimately, right? And trying to be successful in that route. So do you think, I mean, like you said, 95% of the time this may not be the case, but you still have to give it a shot. But like, is it possible, like for example, you have a gift and you really want to, do this, you really want to live a life where you can get to pursue your gift, like literally daily. But according to you, being a podcaster, do you think it is possible to have this as a career lifestyle and a career choice without compromising? What do you think, like in your genre?
Yes, you can. It's just that
Okay.
you will get heartbroken a lot. You will get rejected a lot. You will face fears, rejections, and you have to make them your friends. Right. So basically,
Yeah.
what my method is that I have to cold call people on LinkedIn, and out of 100 people, like 10 respond. So I can't take that as a rejection of myself. I have to be objective in that. I have to separate my work from myself and not associate my self worth with the views that I have or the engagement that I get. So I think that is a good philosophy in whatever non-traditional sort of venture you're trying to undertake. That in the first few years you may not get the kind of response that you are willing to expect, right? Because if you try to compare with others, they have taken like decades. I remember that it was my first month in YouTube, and I just got 100 subscribers, right? I was very happy. I was ecstatic. But then I saw another channel. It got like million views, million subscribers, and then I thought that why should I be comparing myself to a channel which has been growing for 6, 7 years? And it's true that some videos go viral like overnight. It does happen, but how likely is it to happen to everyone? It is not, right? And to the people that has happened, that luck has struck them, they took the shortcut. I mean, the shortcut was given to them of growing as a person to get to that place. So maybe they did not get the essential skills or characteristics that you require to what to do after you get that success, after your video gets viral. How do you manage it? How do you place good content simultaneously, continuously? So for that, I think growth is very much required, and fear of failure should be set aside. But objective criticism should be taken. Constructive,
Yeah.
objective criticism. Not that you are not good enough or you cannot do that. Ask the person, why do you think that you did not like my content? Ask them the specific feedback. Right. You should not also live
Yeah.
in blissful ignorance. Oh no, my work is good, so I think that I should just post it and I should not care. Like, I think there should be a balance between the two.
Okay. That's interesting. I mean,
Thank you.
yeah, like yeah, because like when you're following your passion, it's sometimes, I mean, we tend to forget that, like, when you're putting out work out there, it may not be, it may not, everybody may not get it. But do you think, how important is it to have like a focused audience, people, like, how is it important to have a right audience for your work, or is it like what you feel should be like a more generic approach where you just put your content out there and accept other people's viewpoints and accordingly accommodate?
Okay. So first
Yeah.
of all, to answer your first question, it does not matter if your content is not up to the standards with your competition as of now, because the feeling you get of creating something, putting something to the society, because art is really subjective. What one person, like we like Eminem, other people may not. They may find some indie artist attractive, right? What if that indie artist is you, the next you, right? So how about taking the risk of putting your content out there and not judging yourself or limiting yourself before that, right? So I think the best feeling in the world is creating something with your own hands and putting it
Exactly.
across the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your second question?
I mean, like you said, that you need to balance both. the criticism and the feedback that is coming, and also do what you love? Like what is the magic into it? How do you balance that? Because often as an artist we feel that constant, okay, this is what I want to create, but it may not get like what we
Proper
call the
engagement.
industry levels of success. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
Okay. So okay. Again, the key is balance, because of course you should post something that you absolutely love, but that content should also be useful to the audience. Otherwise, see, the point of putting something out there is having benefit to the society. If I want to put some educational video and it has been said like a million times in a million different platforms, then I don't think that it will get the proper engagement. So I should find a topic that is new, innovative. However, I still love it and it caters to my audience. So it is a very difficult approach, but as an artist, it is your responsibility for the good of the society to find something that has a balance with what you love, to give your best in the content, and also that the society can appreciate what you're doing and can benefit from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who do you create for? Is it for yourself or is it for society?
Oh, I create for myself to grow as a person, but I put the videos for the society.
Okay, interesting.
Thank you.
All right. And like you've been constantly saying how it's a hustle, right? Like you have to cold call people on LinkedIn or do research or, even learn social media marketing for just to, sustain what you doing what you love. So
Right.
is the hustle worth the price? Does that inspire you, or does it like, what do you feel? Is it worth it, or is it like, you know?
I think the price is not as worth as the hustle. Like, I know that right now it may not feel like that, but after you have made it, you will recall all the times that you worked your ass off and how good it felt. The only time that you can truly appreciate being in an air conditioner is when you have walked through the desert. If you make it through someone else, or if you do not make it, you won't truly appreciate the value of getting there. So I think hustle, whether you get the results or not, is always good. Like if I study for an exam and that exam gets cancelled, that does not mean that I have not acquired new knowledge that I can incorporate in this world and can utilize to a maximum efficiency.
Like I think hustle is more important than the price, right? That's what you meant.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So if you were to use that statement and then I ask you, what does success feel to you? Like, can you tell me what you feel in your definition of success?
Okay. Uh, See, you should have your core values written down, like, and you should not strive away from your values. Success can mean traditional success, that you have a wife at the age of, I think it's 30 now, and you have a very high uh, heart attack inducing career at the age of 25, and you go to a good university and shit like that. And that's good. That's good. But you have to decide whether that success is fulfilling, right? Because just because you're successful does not mean that you're happy. You need to have fulfilling success. And that means that doing things that you love, and that may not align with the goals of the expectations which traditional society puts on you. So basically, if your values are that you want to travel or you want to live life to the fullest, and the expectation of the society is that you work for 12 hours, then those values do not align, right? So somewhere down the line, even if you are successful by the society standards, you will not be happy. So for me, success is happiness, that I'm happy doing what I do and I contribute to the society as well. Yes.
So it's basically, even if you're working 12 hours and it does not feel like, it's, you feel good working 12 hours, if it's that success, that's what you meant,
Right.
right?
Right. For
Yeah.
everyone, success is different.
Okay. But like
Yeah.
I wanted to contradict and say that, people like Gary Vee have said that Success, if there's a universal definition of success, it is like waking up every morning and feeling grateful for your life. That great, like waking up in a good mood. So
Okay.
what do you think? What's your take on that? So that's universal, right? When you said it's subjective. So
Yeah. So basically, waking up in a good mood every day may not be possible for everyone, but what we can strive for is taking the responsibility of becoming in a good mood by the end of the night. So, like, if you are not happy in the morning for some any n number of reasons, at least you can take it as your responsibility to do something that is fulfilling to you, so that by night you can be satisfied. And
okay.
the corporate definition of success can be incorporated to those who feel happy doing work for 12 hours. So I think
Yeah.
it's tailor made for everyone.
Okay. Okay. So by that, it means that success actually means that you have a choice to turn your life around. You have the space and the time to, exercise the choice to be happy, no matter whatever circumstance you're in. So
Yeah,
that's just I understood. Yeah. So ultimately, we can say that success is about having the space to exercise the choice on a day-to-day basis to feel happy.
right.
So while in your creative journey, like now that you've spoken a lot about success and the hustle, the creative journey, which also is the hustle, right? Like, what do you love most? What's a part of your creative journey that you love most? And that part that you
Right.
love, I think ultimately is what, fuels us to keep doing what we love, even if the road is very long or,
Hmm.
not very
So
smooth.
I love doing something uncomfortable every day. Right. So
Yeah.
it is very uncomfortable for me to talk to people, especially people I have met for the first time. Right. So I think whatever your career is, if it helps you grow, not in your career but as a person as well, I think that is a an added bonus. Like you're a writer, and when you write, you get ideas and you explore yourself. So why don't you see the silver lining in whatever non-traditional thing you're doing, and whether it is fulfilling and actually giving you growth? And if it is, then money is not an issue as much as you yourself, your personality.
Yeah. So, what is it you love doing when in every day there's a part of your creative journey that you really love about what you do? What is it? What is that? That's what I want to know.
Right. So I'm really scared. Okay, and I love that fear. Like I love that someday it will go away. So every day I work at it, like by talking to people and asking them questions. And, sometimes I don't even have a script. I just ask them impromptu questions, and, it develops my skills as for interview, for my confidence, for my self-esteem. I love making new connections because every person is different. And I have learned eventually in a very crushing way that I'm not the center of the universe. I have to meet other people's time schedule. I have to make questions in accordance with their knowledge, their opinions, their values. So this inclusion of variety and being humbled down, I think that is a very creatively fulfilling thing for me.
Like, do you have any incident that in your while you've been doing podcasts since January 2022, right? So what,
Yeah.
like, do you have any incident in, like, while you were making podcast, something that really touched you or you loved, like, okay, this was the best thing I did? Is there any, like, I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying, you
yeah.
can take.
So
Yeah.
actually, I had a podcast with this person in the US. So it was like in the morning because for them it is evening, right? So I had to like wake up early and I was not ready, so I had to rush and I slipped and I fractured my this what do you call arm. So, but despite that, I conducted the podcast, and after that, I conducted six more podcasts, and then I decided to go to the hospital. So that was really interesting that you can be really surprised that what are the things that can drive you. And if you can do the thing that you love despite your pain, I think then that's your calling.
So, what, like, you could have done anything under the sun, right? Why podcast?
So I used to read a lot of books and I was an introvert. So I wanted to get out of my introversion. Okay. So I wanted to choose a field in which I can interact with people. Now your question might be, there are many fields in which you can interact with people via podcast. So actually I wanted to utilize whatever little knowledge that I have acquired from all that reading. Because of being an introvert, you must have a hobby, right? So utilizing it to some purpose, some value.
Being an introvert, you are also cold calling people. You're doing live interviews with them every day. That's the thing. That's the
Right.
inspiring bit. So, like, is there a role model you have or somebody that inspires you in your journey
Yes,
as a
his name is
podcaster?
it's a very good person, Aakarsh Sharma. I mean,
Okay.
you can imitate being Shah Rukh Khan or Joe Rogan, but why not be the yourself? Like the you can be the next Shah Rukh Khan, but why not be the next Aakarsh Sharma or blank blank whatever? Because those people have already made it and they have created their content. And why would people go for some other copied content if they can have the original one? So instead of copying their format or their style, why not get inspired from it and make something unique or innovative so that you have a new approach? So that if you don't want to be number two in acting like Shah Rukh Khan before you want to be number one in something, right? And you can acquire that target audience and then you can just keep on growing in that.
Like, finally, like, if anything is possible, imagine a situation, anything is possible. How do you live? What kind of life do you envision living?
I mean, it can be a cliche answer, but I think I would choose living like this only because it is giving me an opportunity to grow. Like, if I would have already achieved all the growth in my life, if I would have had my ideal body that I wanted, my ideal mental health, my ideal relationships, right? My ideal engagement rate. So I would not have went through the journey, just the pumping of my muscles or uh, why do you think God has made emotions other than happiness in us so that we can experience things more intensely so that when happiness or joy comes to us we can have more flavor, more appreciation for it. So if I would have had everything in my life, uh, I would not have started doing whatever I wanted to do.
When people, mostly we have this idea, like, ideal life, in our head that we want to be in if anything is
Mhm.
possible. What you said is that if anything is possible, you still do what you're doing because it makes you grow. I think that's an interesting way to put it. But do you think, is it also equally important while to have a destination at the same time, like like something that inspires you to keep growing? Like, what is the inspiration? Is it the growth, or is it the destination, that you
Of
want to be
course,
in that
you must have some qualities, ideal qualities that you should strive for. You should not have an aimless purpose. If I just go and do dumbbells like this and then just do my legs, I mean, I'm not I'm not focusing on what my goals are. So obviously, you should have something that is your purpose, something you strive for. But at the same time, wherever you are at your growth, do not compare yourselves with others. Right now, you are not at that level. You will, but you should not compare and feel bad. So that balance must be remained. You know, uh,
yeah.
whatever body I may have, like after working out for 2-3 hours for like 10-15 years, and what body the Dwayne Johnson Rock had at the age of 16. I mean, his body is still better because his genetics are like that. His father was a wrestler. So I cannot get disheartened and stop growing for myself because the only competition that I have is from myself yesterday. How much growth had I accomplished yesterday? And what am I doing today to overcome that? Right.
Yeah, I think what you mean is like having your own route, and I think like and everybody's journey is very subjective. Is that what you were aiming for?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, okay, interesting. So, finally, because this podcast is about being an earthling, so when I say being an earthling, what does it mean to you? When I say being an earthling, what is your automatic reaction to that? This podcast explores a theme, being an earthling. So when I say being an earthling, what comes to your mind? What is your perspective on this? Being an earthling.
Okay, so do you maintain your house, like the place that you live in? Do you clean it? Yeah, so basically, you want your house clean because it is the thing that is actually helping you give a roof over your head, that saw you at your best and at your worst, right? It it was a place where you grew as a person. It was a place where you felt your love. It was a place where you felt your first heartbreak. So I think you have a lot of connection to the place where you are, right? So if we extend this concept to Earth, right, the whole planet, so we can say that we have a lot to thank for. I mean, not just in terms of oxygen or things like that, but just to be grateful that we are given an opportunity to live here.
So, but you mean that being an earthling is about appreciating where the place we live in?
Like
Yeah.
you know how in before every movie we are supposed to stand up for the national anthem and show our patriotism, which is good that we are showing appreciation to our motherland, right? But if we extend this concept and we look at the world without borders, we can see that the whole world is our home, our habitat. So why not show this patriotism towards the globe as a whole and towards things that actually help you survive, like trees and animals? You know, even the death of the bees from the food chain will lead to the extinction of human beings. Yet we treat people we don't like so gently and with so much respect, while the things that actually take care of us, we don't really. We treat them callously.
The planet is there and we are visiting briefly, and it's very important, like you said, to appreciate what all the things that we have and the opportunity to live this life as we are, and having, like, for example, even despite the environmental conditions that which make earth unlike other planets habitable, right? Also, like, the human race, how earth has been sustaining. So yeah, like that's, and appreciating that, acknowledging that, and respecting the things we have instead of trying to, but human race has been doing, right? We don't care about the planet, and our human activities are constantly ignorant, or rather, not respectful, like.
Right.
And then we're facing the brunt of it in terms of climate change and global warming, and this year, the great Indian heat wave. I think so many people and are suffering because of that, right? I mean, the impact has been felt. So, like you said, the reason why, I asked you this question about being an earthling is because ultimately, we are here on this planet briefly, and we if we don't acknowledge that, respect that, and appreciate that, and live a life that is also equally beneficial to us, because when we live in appreciation and gratitude, you know we live a good quality life, right?
Right.
So, raising that awareness so that more people, when we live like that, not only are we respecting the place that we are in and enhancing our life experience, but at the same time we're enhancing our life own, what we the things that, living a life which we love in a more wholesome way, rather than compromising. And you know like when we are more aware and more respectful and more appreciative, we are enhancing our own life experience, and
Definitely.
when we are in a good mood, it actually, we are creative. Humans are supposed to be creators. because we all have certain creativity in us. And when we are in a good mood and we are appreciative of this world, we can enhance our creativity. And while if you live a life of creativity, do what we love, live a life we love on a day-to-day basis, it actually is beneficial not just for us but for the world we live, right?
Right, right,
So yeah, and when we are pursuing creative activity, we are in a good mood. It's relative. Like first you choose to focus on the good by appreciating that life itself is a gift, and then it inspires you to be creative. And when you're pursuing your creative journey, you are happier. And when you're happier, like you're automatically adding value, right?
right.
So yeah, I think being an earthling, the podcast, and even the entire thing is about bettering your life experience. And when we have a better life experience, we also impact the people around us, the world around us, and it's actually adding value. You know, like we
Right.
acknowledge the fact that art is a gift. We live like that. We create. We are happier, and when we are happier, we are also adding to the world, adding value.
Definitely.